What's up guys, and welcome back to another Lorcana video. It's your boy Skinner. First and foremost, Happy New Year. I know we're already halfway through January, but I hope you enjoyed your holidays and hope your 2024 is off to a great start. December was an incredibly busy month for me, but I'm back with a new video and a fun new deck for you to try. I'll be honest, as someone who does create deck list videos, it's been hard to find inspiration lately with the amount of red-purple bounce that's taken the meta by storm. Sure, there's decks that can beat it, but in terms of consistency, it's hard to deny the sheer force of will that red-purple decks can generate. However, that doesn't need to stop you from having fun, and today's deck might be one of the funnest I've had to play this season. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to announce that we are so close to 1,000 subs, and while I was going to wait for that milestone to do a giveaway, I've decided to instead do it now as a Happy New Year, and thank you all so much for all of your support in 2023. So I'll be sending out a free D100 gift set to one lucky viewer. To win, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and let me know down below which character you would love to see in the future of Lorcana. Anyone is able to enter. I just ask that if you do win and you're not in the United States, you cover the postage. Good luck to everybody and hope you enjoy the video. So when thinking of ways to attack the metagame, we have to consider what is the most powerful card in this game. No, not that one. Much better. While at first it may seem like there's truly no card that could survive this 7-cost Oppenheimer, there is one true king that can restore our kingdom. Many players have been including Mufasa into character-focused decks and trying to pressure down these red-purple decks without losing their complete board to a sweeper. Although Ruby is definitely the most popular color combination due to its ability to flip into cards like Tremaine and Maleficent Dragon, we are now starting to see some more creative approaches to these decks like Blue Fasa and Emerald Mufasa, which I'm bringing you today. So here was the original version of my idea. We have cards like Tinkerbell to help us attack into pesky surfing minis, Lucifer to attack our opponent's hand, and Genies and John Silvers to seal the deal. Another fun thing about this deck is we have cards like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, which interacts with a huge percentage of our deck. It can have some insane uses in slamming things like Surfer Stitch, Rapunzel, Hades, and Genies. As much as I've enjoyed my list, I recently have been playing around with the list from a friend and fellow deck builder, RMB. Looking at the deck side by side, you can see some key differences, and I must admit, I really like the deck choices he's made. While Meg is a turn sooner than Panic and also inkable, I have to admit I was sleeping on the power of Pain and Panic. Besides being really excited to see these cards during preview season, I never really gave him a second look. But in a deck like this where we're looking to apply pressure very early, a 1/4 body is actually something I really overlooked. Finally, something that can quest and doesn't immediately die to Mem Snake. And then, when his brother... Friend? Wait, what is the relationship between Pain and Panic? Co-workers? Roommates? Anyways, when Panic comes into play, not only do we have the ability to attack for a whopping 5 damage into something, but we could also let Pain quest for 3 lore. Panic also quests for 2 himself, giving the duo a possible 5 lore in total. His deck has inclusions of cards like the Queen, which can also provide a +4 boost to Pain, which can be great as well. I won't dive too deep into this deck because there's already another wonderful content creator named Alphos who covered this exact list on his channel. So please, if you want more of a deep dive on this deck list, check out his video in the description below and give the homie a sub. Instead, I'm just going to show you a couple of my games so you can see the deck in action. I'll definitely be bringing this one to locals next week, so thanks RMB for the shiny new toy. Alright, so first up we have Red Purple, as expected. So this is my first couple of games playing this deck, so my mulligans are not going to be perfect here. I just decided to mull away the uninkables and the higher cost. I keep a Panic just in case I draw Pain, which I did. So my opponent leaves with the Olaf, which is expected from this deck. We go ahead and ink a Simba since we do have more than one Simba, and we run out the Queen. I'm a little worried about Teeth and Ambitions here. Obviously that is a card, but I go ahead and test the waters and play the Queen. The other option could have been to ink the Queen, but I was just trying to see if we can maybe bait it out. My opponent does end up playing an Olaf instead. We draw yet another Simba, so again we have 2 Simbas, so I do decide to ink another Simba. And we run out Pain. So Pain is a 1/4, as we mentioned earlier, very hard to deal with, especially when you can play Panic behind him, which you can see we do have Panic. Our opponent chooses to quest for 2. And then he does go ahead and play the Teeth and Ambitions, taking out our Queen, which, you know, it's expected, it's fine. We go ahead and run out the Pain here, and I give him a little buff. We did have an option to attack into one of the Olafs there, but I do want to put a lot of pressure since this is a red-purple matchup. Unfortunately, our opponent does have a Merlin here, so he is able to take out our Pain, but that's okay. Panic still quests for 2, so we're happy to keep him on board. So we ink the dock here and just run out the Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell's going to give us an evasive threat. Tinker is the equivalent of a Minnie Mouse Surfer in this matchup, so she is very good against red purple. So we're able to get down the king here just a couple turns early for Be Prepared, so that's very nice. And we have this Tinkerbell that's pressuring the board, which our opponent cannot deal with until they get to their Be Prepared. So our opponent just decides to try to race us here, since there's nothing else they could really do on my board. I go ahead and quest out here just because I want to apply more pressure. This does allow them the opportunity to attack into Mufasa before Be Prepared, but I just figured I wanted to put more pressure on the board, and I do use Hades to go ahead and grab back that panic as well. So my opponent does decide to play the lotto and goes ahead and runs into a genie, which is the worst case scenario for my opponent. And I do send Madam Mim flying back to his hand. Genie is amazing as well because he is evasive, which means he cannot be attacked into and continues to threaten that 2 extra lore next turn. We go ahead and run out the Surfer Stitch, which draws us 2 cards, more gas, and yet another genie. I decided to just take the crab off the board here just to avoid any shenanigans with trying to kill my Surfer. And then quest in with my evasives to put us at 15, and we have lethal next turn, and are still waiting on our opponents Be Prepared, which clearly they have not drawn. Our opponent hits us with the big, scary Elsa and taps down our Stitch and Genie. So now it's definitely a little closer of a race, so it's a little scary, but we still have, I think, enough gas to try to get there. Our opponent has 5 lore on board, which is not 6. I go ahead and bounce back our own Stitch here, just in case we are able to draw 2 cards next turn, even though the game is pretty much over since we have all evasives in play. So obviously the scariest thing that could happen here is a goat, which if my opponent had it, he would have had it, but he does not have it. He plays Maleficent, possibly drawing him into the goat. I was very scared here. Another Maleficent, but at this point we do not have enough ink to play goat, so I know that I'm in the clear, and we go ahead and scoop up this game with our evasive party. So this next game is against Purple Steel, and as you can see, we get to go second because I've never been first in my life. We draw a pretty good hand here, low to the ground. We try to get rid of this Surfer Stitch just because it's a late card, but we end up getting it back, which is fine. We can still use it as ink. We run out our 1-drop and pass the turn. Our opponent misses their 1-drop, which means they could not play that snake on 2, which is unfortunate. I've definitely been there. And he passes the turn back to us, where we run out a Pain. Our opponent, likely having Fox in his hand, cannot play anything because he missed his 1-drop. Missing your 1-drop as a purple deck can be really detrimental. So he goes ahead and just draws 2 cards and passes it back. We go ahead and apply a Pain to the board. We would have loved to have had a Panic there, but it's okay. I have enough Panic in my personal life, so that'll do. I do actually play the Simba without activating Bodyguard by accident. I just misclicked it, so I do hit the whoops there, and Kravix hits me back with the whoops as well. He recognizes that I made a mistake. However, it doesn't end up mattering anyway because he does have the Grab Your Sword and goes ahead and smashes through our Simba and our Stitch. But thankfully these 1/4s stick around just to lore again for 2 more lore. I debate here whether to ink the Stitch or the Queen, but I don't see my character sticking around on board very long for us to get any value out of the Stitch, so I go ahead and ink it and add a Mufasa to the board. Our opponent plays out a Sad Beast and runs his Tinkerbell into our Pain, and then decides to shoot the other one down, so both of our Pain's gone, but they did get in there for some lore and definitely got their uses. Right on time, we draw Panic, which unfortunately is not able to hit our Pain, but it does surprise our opponent and allow us to attack into his Tinkerbell, and you'll notice here he hits us with the Well Played because he most likely did not expect to lose his Tinkerbell there. Our opponent plays out Ursula, which is pretty scary, and quests in with the Beast. I'll be honest, I'm not sure why he quested with the beast here. I get a pretty free trade. I don't know if he was trying to bait something out. I really don't see the line, but I do happily take this attack here and send my panic with no drawback into his beast, cutting off his draw power. He does continue to slam these bombs and plays an Elsa, tapping down our queen and our Tinkerbell. And then he goes ahead and shakes his big booty in for 3. I could have shifted here to quest earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and get in an extra body on the board, so I go ahead and play Stitch for full. At this point, my opponent needs Tinkerbell or Foxes or Grab Your Swords or anything to deal with this wide board that I'm putting out in front of him. He attacks into my board and uses Madame Mim here to bounce his Ursula back to his hand, draining yet another lore from us and allowing his Ursula to live in case we want to attack back. But we're not on that plan. We're not attacking anybody. We are just going to quest here. So we quest in for another 7 lore, putting us at 18, and drop another Rockstar on his face. And at this point, it is just overwhelming, and it's going to take a lot to keep him in this game. And that wraps up our 2 games against 2 purple decks. So obviously the red purple decks are still going to be on top of the meta game. I am no way saying that this deck is the meta slayer, but it is a great deck and I really have a lot of fun playing it. And I hope you guys will take it to your locals and give it a shot, because honestly, I'm just happy to see green doing something in this format. I know we have discard doing pretty decent as well, but I really like this idea with Mufasa and being able to play evasives, since I did really love evasives in set 1. So do not forget, leave your comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed for that giveaway, and I will be announcing the winner in our next video, which should be out in about a week or so, depending on my schedule. I'm working on it, guys. Thank you guys again. I hope you had a blast like I did, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.